Welcome back to our channel. Today, we are going to talk about a topic that can completely change your English learning journey: daily habits for English fluency. Many people dream of speaking English fluently. They buy books, watch videos, learn grammar rules, and memorize vocabulary. But after months or even years, they still struggle to speak confidently. Why does this happen? The answer is simple. Fluency is not built by studying once in a while. Fluency is built by small daily habits repeated again and again. Think about it. A tree does not grow in one day. A strong body is not built in one workout. In the same way, fluent English is not created in one week. It grows little by little through daily practice. The good news is that you do not need to study for 5 hours every day. You do not need to be a genius. You do not need perfect grammar. What you need are the right habits and the discipline to follow them consistently. In today's video, I will share 7 powerful daily habits that can help you improve your listening, speaking, vocabulary, confidence, and overall fluency. These habits are simple, practical, and perfect for beginners. If you practice them every day, your English will become stronger, more natural, and more fluent over time. So stay with me until the end, because each lesson builds on the previous one, and together they can create a powerful transformation in your English journey. And if you truly want to improve your English and become more confident every day, make sure you subscribe to the channel and join our learning community. Lesson 1. Listen to English every day. If you want to become fluent in English, the first habit you should build is listening to English every single day. Many learners think speaking is the most important skill. Speaking is important. But before you can speak well, you must train your ears. Your ears are the doorway to fluency. Think about how a child learns a language. A child does not open a grammar book. A child does not memorize hundreds of vocabulary words. A child listens. Day after day, month after month, the child hears people talking. Slowly, the brain begins to understand the sounds, the rhythm, and the patterns of the language. After enough listening, speaking starts naturally. English learners can learn in a very similar way. When you listen to English every day, your brain starts becoming familiar with the language. At first, you may understand only a few words. You may feel confused. You may think people speak too fast. This is completely normal. Every fluent English speaker was once a beginner who struggled to understand. Many learners make a big mistake. They listen to English for a few days and then stop because they cannot understand everything. They think, this is too difficult. But listening is not about understanding every single word. Listening is about training your brain. Imagine going to the gym for the first time. You cannot lift heavy weights on the first day. Your muscles need time to grow stronger. Listening works the same way. Every minute you spend listening is like exercise for your brain. Little by little, your listening muscles become stronger. Start with easy English. Choose content that matches your level. If something feels too difficult, do not quit. Find something easier. The goal is to listen regularly, not to impress yourself with difficult material. A very useful habit is to listen during small moments throughout the day. Listen while making breakfast. Listen while cleaning your room. Listen while walking. Listen while exercising. Listen while relaxing in the evening. These small moments may seem unimportant, but they add up. 10 minutes here and 15 minutes there can become hours of English exposure every week. The beautiful thing about listening is that you can do it almost anywhere. You do not need a special classroom. You do not need expensive equipment. You only need the willingness to make English a part of your daily life. As you continue listening every day, something interesting starts to happen. Words that once sounded strange begin to sound familiar. Sentences that once seemed confusing become easier to understand. Your brain starts recognizing common phrases automatically. For example, when you hear phrases like, "How are you doing?" "What do you mean?" "That sounds great," or "I don't know," again and again, you stop translating them. You understand them instantly. This is an important step toward fluency. Listening also helps improve pronunciation. Many learners struggle with pronunciation because they do not hear enough English. The more you listen, the more your brain learns the correct sounds. You begin noticing how native speakers connect words, stress certain syllables, and use natural rhythm. Do not worry if your progress feels slow. Language learning is often invisible. Some days it may feel like nothing is changing. Then one day you suddenly realize you understood a conversation that was impossible for you a few months ago. That is how progress works. Small improvements happen quietly until they become impossible to ignore. There is a simple truth that many successful learners understand. Fluency is not built in one day. It is built one day at a time. Every time you listen to English, you are placing another brick in the foundation of your fluency. So make listening a daily habit. Even if you are busy, even if you are tired, even if you can only listen for a few minutes. Stay consistent. Remember, every fluent English speaker has spent thousands of hours listening to English. The more English you hear, the more natural it becomes. Train your ears every day, and one day your mouth will follow. That is how fluency begins. Lesson 2. Speak English out loud. Every day. Many English learners spend years studying grammar, memorizing vocabulary, and reading books, yet they still feel nervous when it is time to speak. Why does this happen? Because speaking is a skill, and like every skill, it improves only when you practice it regularly. Imagine a person who watches hundreds of videos about swimming but never enters the water. Will that person become a great swimmer? Of course not. The same thing happens with English. You can learn many rules and many words, but if you do not speak, your fluency will never grow as fast as it could. This is why speaking English out loud every day is one of the most powerful habits you can build. Your mouth needs training just as much as your brain does. When you speak, you train your tongue, your lips, and your voice to produce English sounds naturally. Many beginners wait for the perfect moment to start speaking. They think, "I will speak when my grammar is perfect." Or they say, "I will speak when I know more vocabulary." The problem is that this perfect moment never comes. Fluent speakers are not people who waited until they were perfect. They're people who started before they felt ready. At first, speaking may feel uncomfortable. You may forget words. You may make grammar mistakes. You may stop in the middle of a sentence because you do not know what to say next. That is completely normal. Mistakes are not signs of failure. Mistakes are signs that you are learning. One of the easiest ways to practice speaking is to talk to yourself. Some people feel strange when they hear this idea, but it is one of the best methods for beginners. You do not need a partner. You do not need a classroom. You can start right now. When you wake up in the morning, describe what you are doing. I am getting out of bed. I am making breakfast. I need to take a shower. I have a busy day today. These simple sentences may not seem important, but they train your brain to think and speak in English at the same time. You can also talk about your surroundings. Look around your room and describe what you see. There is a table near the window. My phone is on the desk. The weather looks sunny today. This type of practice teaches you how to use English in real life. As you become more comfortable, try speaking for longer periods. Talk about your goals, your hobbies, your favorite movie, your family, or your plans for the future. Do not worry if your sentences are simple. Simple English spoken confidently is much better than complicated English that is never spoken. Speaking every day also helps you become faster. In the beginning, your brain may take a long time to create a sentence. You think about every word. You translate everything. This process feels slow and tiring. But when you practice daily, your brain starts creating sentences automatically. Common words and phrases become easier to remember. You spend less time thinking and more time communicating. Confidence grows the same way. Many learners believe confidence comes first and speaking comes second. In reality, speaking comes first and confidence comes second. The more you speak, the more comfortable you become. The more comfortable you become, the more confident you feel. Confidence is built through action, not waiting. Think about a learner named Daniel. When he started learning English, he was afraid of making mistakes. Every time he wanted to speak, he became nervous. Because of this fear, he stayed silent most of the time. One day, Daniel made a simple decision. He would speak English for 10 minutes every day, no matter what. Some days, he talked about his breakfast. Some days, he talked about his work. Some days, he described his plans for the weekend. His English was not perfect. He made many mistakes. But he kept going. After a few weeks, speaking became easier. After a few months, he noticed that he could express his ideas much faster. The habit that seemed small at the beginning completely changed his ability to communicate. The same thing can happen to you. Remember, fluency is not built by staying silent. Fluency is built by speaking, even when it feels difficult. Every sentence you speak is a step forward. Every mistake teaches you something. Every day of practice brings you closer to your goal. So make a promise to yourself. Speak English out loud every day. Speak when you feel confident. Speak when you feel nervous. Speak when your sentences are perfect. Speak when they are not. Because every fluent English speaker started exactly where you are now, with simple words, simple sentences, and the courage to open their mouth and begin. Lesson 3. Read something in English every day. If listening is food for your ears and speaking is exercise for your mouth, then reading is training for your mind. Reading is one of the most powerful daily habits for English fluency because it helps you learn vocabulary, grammar, sentence structure, and natural expressions all at the same time. Many learners believe that reading is boring or less important than speaking. But the truth is that almost every fluent English speaker spends a lot of time reading. Reading fills your mind with English. It shows you how real sentences are created. It teaches you how words work together naturally. Think about this for a moment. When you speak, you use words that are already inside your mind. If your mind contains only a small amount of English, then your speaking will also be limited. Reading helps you put more English into your brain every day. One of the biggest mistakes learners make is choosing material that is too difficult. They open a book filled with advanced vocabulary and long, complicated sentences. After a few pages, they feel tired, frustrated, and discouraged. Learning English is not a competition. You do not need to read difficult material to improve. In fact, reading easy English regularly is often much more effective. Choose reading materials that you can understand without too much difficulty. When you understand most of what you read, your brain learns naturally. You enjoy the process more, and you are more likely to continue. The goal is not to finish the hardest book. The goal is to create a daily reading habit that you can maintain for months and years. Imagine a learner named Sarah. She wanted to improve her English quickly. She bought a very difficult book because she thought it would help her learn faster. Every page contained many unknown words. She stopped constantly to check the dictionary. Reading became stressful. After a few days, she gave up. Later, she changed her approach. She started reading simple English stories and short articles for 15 minutes every day. She understood most of what she read. She enjoyed the experience. Most importantly, she continued. After several months, her vocabulary grew naturally. Her confidence increased. Reading became one of her favorite parts of learning English. The lesson is simple. Consistency is more important than difficulty. Reading every day also helps you learn grammar without feeling like you are studying grammar. When you see correct English sentences again and again, your brain begins to recognize patterns. For example, after reading hundreds of sentences like, "I went to the store yesterday," "She finished her work early," "They watched a movie last night," you naturally begin understanding how the past tense works. You may not even think about grammar rules. Your brain learns through exposure. This is one reason why children learn languages so effectively. They see and hear language patterns repeatedly. Reading gives adult learners a similar advantage. Reading also introduces you to useful expressions that native speakers use every day. For example, "I'm looking forward to it." That makes sense. As soon as possible. "I can't wait." When you encounter these expressions many times, they become familiar. Eventually, you start using them in your own conversations. This makes your English sound more natural and more fluent. A powerful habit is to read actively instead of passively. Do not rush through the text. Pay attention to useful words and phrases. Notice how sentences are organized. Ask yourself simple questions about what you are reading. You do not need to study every word. Focus on understanding the main idea. Enjoy the content. Let English become something you experience, not something you constantly analyze. Reading also strengthens your confidence. Every page you complete proves that you are making progress. Every paragraph you understand shows that your English is improving. Some days you may only read for 5 minutes. Other days you may read for 20 or 30 minutes. The important thing is to keep the habit alive. Remember, fluency is not created by one big effort. It is created by small actions repeated every day. A few pages today may not seem important. A few pages tomorrow may not seem important either. But after weeks and months, those pages become thousands of new words, hundreds of useful expressions, and a much deeper understanding of English. So make reading a daily habit. Read something simple. Read something interesting. Read something you enjoy. Do not worry about being perfect. Do not worry about understanding every word. Just keep reading, because every page you read is another step toward English fluency, and every day you spend reading brings you closer to speaking English with confidence, clarity, and ease. Lesson 4. Learn and use new words every day. Vocabulary is one of the most important parts of English fluency. If grammar is the skeleton of a language, vocabulary is the flesh and muscle. Without words, you cannot express your thoughts, share your ideas, ask questions, or understand other people. Many learners spend years studying English but still struggle to speak. The reason is often simple. They do not know enough words, or they know words but do not use them. Learning vocabulary is not just about recognizing words. It is about making those words part of your daily life. Think about a builder who wants to build a house. The builder needs bricks. The more bricks he has, the bigger and stronger the house can become. Vocabulary works in the same way. Every new word you learn becomes another brick in your English fluency. Many beginners make a common mistake. They try to learn 50 or 100 new words in a single day. At first, they feel excited. They write long vocabulary lists and spend hours memorizing them. A few days later, they forget most of those words. Why does this happen? Because the brain remembers information better when it is learned slowly and used regularly. Learning 5 useful words every day and actually using them is much more powerful than memorizing 50 words and never using them again. Imagine a learner named Michael. Every week, he learned hundreds of words from vocabulary books. He could recognize many words during tests, but when he tried to speak English, his mind became blank. One day, he changed his strategy. Instead of learning many words, he focused on just 5 new words each day. He used each word in several sentences. He spoke them aloud. He wrote them in a notebook. He tried to use them in conversations. After a few months, his vocabulary became stronger than ever before because the words had become part of his active vocabulary, not just words he had memorized. This is an important difference. Passive vocabulary consists of words you recognize when reading or listening. Active vocabulary consists of words you can use naturally when speaking and writing. Fluency depends on active vocabulary. Whenever you learn a new word, do not stop after reading its meaning. Create your own examples. For example, if you learn the word confident, you can create sentences like, I feel confident when I practice English. She is a confident speaker. I want to become more confident. The more you use a word, the stronger it becomes in your memory. Another helpful habit is learning words in groups instead of learning random words. For example, if you are learning words related to food, you might learn breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, hungry, delicious, restaurant, menu. These words connect naturally in your brain. This makes them easier to remember and easier to use in real conversations. Vocabulary also grows when you pay attention to the English around you. Every time you read a story, listen to a conversation, watch a video, or hear a podcast, you have an opportunity to discover new words. Be curious. When you find an interesting word, do not ignore it. Take a moment to learn it. Write it down. Use it in a sentence. Review it later. Small actions like these create big results over time. Many learners say, I know the word, but I cannot remember it when I need it. This happens because recognition and usage are different skills. Imagine buying exercise equipment but never exercising. Owning the equipment does not make you stronger. Similarly, Knowing a word does not make it useful unless you practice using it. The solution is simple. Use every new word as quickly as possible. Say it aloud. Write it. Use it in your daily speaking practice. Talk to yourself using the word. Create multiple examples. Each time you use the word, you strengthen the connection in your brain. Over time, the word becomes automatic. Vocabulary growth may seem slow at first. Learning 5 words today does not feel life-changing. Learning 5 more tomorrow may not feel exciting either. But think about what happens after 1 year. 5 words per day equals more than 1,800 new words. Imagine how different your English would be if you could confidently use 1,800 additional words. That is the power of daily habits. Fluency is not built by one huge effort. It is built through small actions repeated consistently. So make vocabulary learning a daily habit. Learn a few useful words every day. Use them immediately. Speak them. Write them. Review them. Most importantly, make them part of your life. Because every new word you learn is another tool that helps you express yourself, understand others, and move closer to the fluency you dream about. One word may seem small today, but thousands of words learned over time can completely transform your English. Lesson 5. Think in English for a few minutes every day. One of the biggest reasons many learners struggle to speak English fluently is not grammar, pronunciation, or vocabulary. The real problem is that they think in their native language first and then try to translate everything into English. This habit slows down speaking. Your brain has to do 2 jobs at the same time. First, it creates an idea in your native language. Then it searches for English words. This process takes time, creates hesitation, and often makes conversations stressful. If you want to speak English more naturally, you must train your brain to think directly in English. At first, this may sound difficult. Many learners believe they need thousands of words before they can think in English. The truth is very different. You can start today with the English you already know. Imagine you wake up in the morning. Instead of thinking in your native language, try simple English thoughts. I am awake. It is morning. I need to brush my teeth. I am feeling a little tired. These are small sentences, but they are powerful because they train your brain to operate in English. Many people think fluency begins when they can speak quickly. In reality, fluency begins much earlier. It begins the moment your brain starts creating thoughts directly in English. Think about a learner named Emma. She studied English for years. She knew grammar rules and vocabulary lists. Yet every time she wanted to speak, she paused for several seconds before answering. Why? Because she translated everything. Someone would ask a question. She would think in her native language. Then she would search for English words. Then she would finally speak. One day, she decided to practice thinking in English for just 5 minutes every day. While walking, she described everything around her. The sky is beautiful. There are many cars on the road. I need to buy some groceries. I wonder what I will do this weekend. At first, her thoughts were simple. Sometimes she forgot words. Sometimes her sentences were not perfect. But she continued. After several months, something amazing happened. She noticed that English words started appearing in her mind automatically. She no longer needed to translate every thought. Speaking became faster and easier. That is the power of thinking in English. A simple way to practice this habit is to describe your daily activities in your mind. When making breakfast, think, I am making coffee. The bread smells good. I need to leave the house soon. When shopping, think, I need milk. These apples look fresh. The line is very long today. These everyday thoughts create valuable speaking practice without needing another person. Another effective exercise is asking yourself questions in English. What should I do today? What is my biggest goal this month? What movie do I want to watch tonight? Then answer the questions in English. This creates a natural conversation inside your mind and helps strengthen your ability to form sentences quickly. Do not worry about mistakes while thinking. Nobody can hear your thoughts. This is a safe place to practice. Many learners stop because they do not know every word they need. When this happens, do not switch back immediately to your native language. Try using simpler English. For example, if you do not know the word exhausted, you can think, I am very tired. Simple English is still English. The goal is not perfection. The goal is building the habit. Thinking in English also improves confidence. When you spend time creating English thoughts every day, English becomes more familiar. It starts feeling less like a school subject and more like a natural part of your life. You begin noticing that sentences come to your mind more quickly. Conversations become less stressful. You spend less energy translating and more energy communicating. This habit may seem small, but it creates enormous results over time. 5 minutes of thinking in English today may not feel important. 5 minutes tomorrow may not feel important either. But after weeks and months, your brain gradually adapts. English becomes faster. English becomes easier. English becomes more natural. Remember, fluent speakers do not translate every sentence. They think directly in English. That ability is not magic. It is not talent. It is a skill that can be developed through daily practice. So, make a simple promise to yourself. Spend a few minutes every day thinking in English. Think about your day. Think about your plans. Think about your goals. Think about the world around you. The more you think in English, the less you will need translation. And the less you translate, the closer you move toward true English fluency. Lesson 6. Keep a simple English journal every day. One of the most powerful habits for English fluency is keeping a simple English journal. Many learners focus only on listening and speaking, but writing is also very important. Writing helps you organize your thoughts, remember vocabulary, improve grammar, and become more comfortable using English. The best thing about journaling is that you do not need perfect English. You do not need advanced vocabulary. You only need a notebook and a few minutes each day. Many people believe they have nothing interesting to write about. This is not true. Your daily life gives you endless topics. You can write about, what did I do today? How did I feel today? What did I learn today? What are my plans for tomorrow? What am I grateful for today? These simple topics are enough to build a strong writing habit. Imagine a learner named David. He wanted to improve his English, but he often forgot new words. He learned vocabulary one day and forgot it the next week. One evening, he started writing a short journal in English. At first, he wrote only 3 or 4 sentences. Today, I woke up at 7 o'clock. I went to work. I studied English for 20 minutes. I feel happy because I learned new words. His writing was simple. It was not perfect, but he continued every day. After a few months, something interesting happened. The words he used regularly became easier to remember. His sentences became longer. His confidence grew. The habit of writing helped him become a better speaker because he was training his brain to create English sentences every day. This is one of the hidden benefits of journaling. When you write, you are practicing English production. Your brain must choose words, organize ideas, and build sentences. These are the same skills needed for speaking. Many learners think fluency only comes from talking. In reality, writing strengthens your ability to express yourself in English. Another benefit of journaling is that it allows you to see your progress. When you read old journal entries, you can clearly see how much your English has improved. Sentences that once seemed difficult become easy. Words that once felt new become familiar. This creates motivation because you can actually see your growth. Do not worry about mistakes. Every learner makes mistakes. Your journal is not a school exam. It is a place for practice. The goal is not perfect writing. The goal is daily writing. Even 5 minutes every evening can make a huge difference over time. Remember, every sentence you write is another step toward fluency. So take a notebook and start today. Write about your day. Write about your dreams. Write about your goals. Write about your experiences. The more you write, the stronger your English becomes. Lesson 7. Stay consistent and never skip practice. This is the most important lesson of all. You can have the best study methods. You can have the best books. You can know the best vocabulary and grammar techniques. But if you are not consistent, none of those things will help you reach fluency. Consistency is the secret that separates successful English learners from those who quit. Many people start learning English with excitement. They study for 2 or 3 hours on the first day. They feel motivated. They imagine becoming fluent very quickly. Then life becomes busy. They skip one day, then another day. Soon, a week passes without practice. Eventually, they lose momentum completely. This happens because motivation is temporary. Some days you will feel motivated. Some days you will not. If you only practice when you feel motivated, your progress will always be slow. Successful learners understand something important. Discipline is more powerful than motivation. Imagine a learner named Sarah. She was not the smartest student in her class. She did not learn English faster than everyone else. But she had one habit. Every single day, she spent 20 minutes practicing English. Some days she listened. Some days she read. Some days she spoke. Some days she wrote. She never tried to study for 6 hours. She simply stayed consistent. After 1 year, many learners who started with her had already quit. Sarah continued. After 2 years, her English was much stronger than most of her classmates. Why? Because small daily actions created massive results. This is how fluency is built. Not through one amazing study session. Not through one motivational video. Not through one perfect method. Fluency is built through thousands of small efforts repeated over time. Think about brushing your teeth. You do not brush your teeth once for 5 hours and expect them to stay clean for a year. You brush them every day. English works the same way. Daily practice keeps your skills active and growing. Even on busy days, try to do something small. Listen for 10 minutes. Read 1 page. Learn 3 new words. Write a few sentences. Speak for 5 minutes. Small practice is always better than no practice. The greatest danger is not making mistakes. The greatest danger is stopping. Never underestimate the power of showing up every day. 1 day of practice may not seem important. 1 week may not seem important. 1 month may not seem important, but after a year, those small efforts can completely transform your English. So make consistency your daily habit. Keep listening, keep speaking, keep reading, keep writing, keep thinking in English. Some days progress will feel fast, some days progress will feel slow. Keep going anyway. Because the person who refuses to quit is often the person who eventually becomes fluent. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Remember, English fluency is not built in one day. It is built through small habits repeated every day. Listening, speaking, reading, learning new words, thinking in English, writing in a journal, and staying consistent may seem simple, but together they can completely transform your English. Do not worry about being perfect. Do not compare yourself to others. Focus on becoming a little better every day. Even if you improve by just 1% each day, those small improvements will create amazing results over time. The most important thing is to keep going. Some days will be easy, some days will be difficult, but never stop practicing. Every minute you spend with English is an investment in your future. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like the video, share it with a friend who is learning English, and subscribe to the channel for more easy and powerful English lessons. Keep learning, keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Take care and have a wonderful day.